What's going on, everybody? Happy Victory Saturday. Miami 6-1 after a dramatic 44-41 victory last night against NC State on the road. It was a tough one. Like I'm not gonna lie, I thought most of the second half that we were gonna find a way to lose that game. But like we have a few times this year, leadership took over and we found a way to pull it out. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the negative because there are things about this team that I need to rip apart. And I think we should address that first. That way I can end on a positive note. Negatives. Here we go. I'm going to be pretty straight with this. Our secondary sucks. They're bad. We have one of the worst corner tandems in the entire country. I don't want to hear this crap about how DJ Ivey and Al Blades are turning a corner and they're growing up before our eyes. They've been bad. All right, and I'm not one usually to rip apart certain players, on my channel. I don't normally like to do that, but they need to be called out. All right, they got abused, both of them. And also, it drives me insane when a cornerback just doesn't know how to turn around and look for the ball. It's something that in a Power 5 college program you should know how to do, much less a program like Miami. So I'm sorry, they're just not getting it done. To Corey Couch right now, who, by the way, had a great game last night, he needs to be starting. I want to see the next depth chart, one of those corner spots, I want it to be to Corey Couch by himself. And then on the other side, I want to see Blades or Ivey or Dunson. That's right, I said Dunson. I want to see him getting some playing time because, again, Blades and Ivey just have not separated themselves from the pack. They're not getting it done. We need to make some moves there. Starting with putting to Corey Couch at corner. He's our best cover corner, hands down. All right, so Bubba Bolden, I know he's our all-everything safety. He's been making plays all season. He did not have a very good game to his standards, but I think he'll right the ship. I think he's gonna pick it back up. He's a motivated guy. He's a leader on this team. I don't think that's gonna be a trend moving forward. I think he's gonna pick it back up and start playing well down the stretch. But he can't do it by himself. He's not the secondary. The secondary is all four of those guys out there. And they just looked terrible last night. I think our secondary got exposed. It's the weak point, one of the weak points of our defense. Another weak point of our defense is the linebacking core, which it's been heavily criticized all season, and rightfully so. Zach McLeod, another guy not getting it done. He needs to be benched. I understand he was getting a lot of extra playing time, more than he would have had otherwise, because Corey Flagg was on the this COVID, not able to play list of players, along with like 9 other guys. So the second Corey Flagg is available again, I want to see him in there. I want to see him starting at middle linebacker because, again, McLeod just is not getting it done. He's always behind on plays. He always looks lost. I want to see Corey Flagg in there. And I want to see Sam Brooks starting right next to him. He's our fastest, most athletic linebacker, our hardest hitting linebacker probably. I want to see those guys starting and much diminished snaps for McLeod and Jennings. That's pretty much it as far as the negatives. So actually, no, that's not it. I need to touch on one other thing. The penalties reared its ugly head again. I think that I'm noticing this. I think this is something coming off of bye weeks that we're just sloppy. We're undisciplined. We have to be one of the most undisciplined teams in college football. It's incredible. For the talent that we have, I've always said this team this year has the talent to be a top 15, top 20 team, especially on defense. But all these offside penalties, these guys jumping offsides before the snap on these hard counts, watch the ball. It's not that hard. There's these little ticky-tack holding calls down. I mean, I don't get as mad about the pass interference, a holding call here and there, because, you're playing, you're just being aggressive. A jersey's going to get grabbed. It happens. But the bonehead pre-snap penalties, those have to stop. The Quincy Roche penalty, the guy's standing over you trying to get the ref's attention like, dude, you're a senior. You should know better. It's 3rd and long. Don't push him off. I mean, and all this pushing and shoving after the plays, that has to stop. I don't know what it is. This coaching staff is just too soft and too nice with these guys. I didn't see one moment where a guy's pulled by his face mask and told whatever and just yelled at and told to sit down because they made a boneheaded mistake. I want to see that. I really want to see that, and I think the fans want to see that. I'm not usually one to think that, oh, good coaches have to be a screamer. Not necessarily, but they need to get in a player's face when they're being stupid. And last night, some of our guys were being stupid, and they need to be called out for it. All right, so that's it for the negatives. I'm going to touch on the positives really quick and end on a high note. De'Ara King looked like an absolute stud last night. Last night is what I envisioned when we acquired him back in January. 500 yards of offense by himself, 31 of 41. The guy was just a machine on third down. He was a playmaker with his legs. He rushed for over 100 yards. Was responsible for 5 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we need to see here at Miami. And not just this year, but moving forward. That being said, I really hope he stays next year. If he stays next year, then I really like our chances at least competing for a conference championship. And not just him. I don't want to hear anything about any juniors thinking about leaving early, aside from maybe Brevin Jordan. I don't want to hear any other juniors even uttering the words that they might be thinking of leaving early. They all should be staying and coming back next year. That would help our depth tremendously. All right, Mike Harley, got to give him a shout out because that's his second straight week now that he just had a monster game. Over 150 yards receiving. I believe he had 2 touchdowns. The guy's turning into a very reliable receiver and is emerging as a number 1 guy. We've been waiting for someone from that pack to emerge as the top guy, as the alpha of that group, and he's turning into that. So props to him. Mark Pope and D. Wiggins, I really called them out on Twitter, and it's almost like Mark Pope heard me because he made like 2 or 3 huge plays after that. So after his drops late in the first half, he had a much better second half. So I got to give him a shout out. Cam Harris, if I'm not mistaken, again, I don't have the stats in front of me. I never do. Cam, I believe, had 62 yards rushing. We looked much better running the ball as a team. Instead of just running it into a pile and getting stuffed for no gain or a loss of 1, it looked like we actually moved the pile and got 3 or 4 yards on first down or second down. That's progress. I'll take 3 or 4 yards on first down over -2. Huge difference. All right, and as for the Fire Baker stuff, listen, I'm not in love with the guy as a defensive coordinator. I was saying in previous videos that he has made strides as far as making in-game adjustments. I don't know where that was last night because I didn't see it. But at the same time, our guys have to make plays. Blake Baker would have a much easier time if he had corners that knew what the hell they were doing. And if he had linebackers that knew what the hell they were doing. I'm sorry, but those guys were with the program before he was. All right, and they're upperclassmen, so they should know better. That being said, though, Blake Baker, yes, he is a little bit in over his head. I can see that. It would not shock me to not see him with the program next year. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes moving forward. At the end of the day, we're 6-1. We got Virginia Tech, a very tough game next week on the road. Yes, they're unranked, but I don't think that matters. If you watch Virginia Tech, they have a hell of an offense. They shredded us last year at home. I was at that game, I remember. So hopefully we got revenge in our minds. Hopefully this is one of those games, and typically Virginia Tech is a rivalry game. This is one of those games where these guys will not have to be motivated by the coaches to get up for this game. It'll be like the Florida State game. They're just going to be up for it no matter what. Going to Blacksburg, and also a little bit of an advantage because they don't have that usual Lane Stadium crowd. So tough game coming up. We're likely going to be the favorites going into that game. Hopefully this offense can stay into a rhythm. If they do, I like our chances. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Go Canes. It's all about the U.